Before the break, we learnt difficult words and grammar. Now we will read the story and find out what the little girl's father was like. We know that all fathers are not alike. Some show their love and affection for their children and play with them. But on the other hand, others also love and care for the children, but they show it by working hard for them and giving them instructions and advice. They also love and care for the children, but they don't show it in equal ways. There are different ways. Some parents or fathers are angry, they give lots of instructions. Some fathers, you can see their faces are strict, but they all love their children. Now, this is a story about a little girl. For her, the father was a figure to be feared, and she used to avoid her father. Every morning before going to work, he used to come in her room and give her a casual kiss, to which she responded with, "Goodbye, father." The little daughter, she used to wait for father to go. And when father used to sit in his car, then a glad sense of relief was on her face when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. It was a long sense of relief. Father is away, then that's a good feeling for her. And in the evening, when father used to come home, then this girl, little Kezia, when she knows that father has arrived, she used to stand near the staircase and heard his loud voice from the hall. He used to tell, "Bring my tea into the drawing room," and "Hasn't the paper come yet?" Father used to sit in the drawing room, we all call living room, and whenever he asked that newspaper has come or not, when morning he could not read the newspaper, so evening time is better time to read the newspaper. He used to call and tell his mother, "Go and see if my paper is out there, and if it is there, bring it for me, and also bring my slippers." And now on the instructions of fathers, mother used to call Kezia. Kezia is the name of the little girl. If you are a good girl, you can come down and see your father has arrived home. You can take off father's boot. The girl, Kezia, she used to come down slowly, because she was scared of her father. Because of this scared figure, father figure, she used to come down slowly across the hall and push open the drawing room door. And by the time father is ready to read the newspaper with the spectacles on his nose, and this look is terrifying for the little girl. "Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today?" father asked Kezia. And she used to reply, "I don't know, Father, you don't know? If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor for the checkup. What's wrong with your voice? This little girl, Kezia, she never stuttered with other people. She had quite given it up, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. She was so scared of her father. What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? He said to his mother, Mother, I wish you teach this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here, Kezia, now carry my cup back to the table, but carefully. So Kezia took the cup. According to Kezia, father was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he used to yawn. Because she was a little girl, thinking about him alone was like thinking about like a giant. On Sunday afternoon, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice conversation with parents, mother and father. Every day you are with me, but now this is Sunday, so better you go and converse with your parents. Kezia, the little girl, she always found father and mother in the same way. Mother always reading and father always stretched out on the sofa with a pillow and handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping sound and snoring. And this girl Kezia, she sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched. And father asked the time, then looked at her and told, Don't stare so. Kezia, you look like a little brown owl. Then Kezia used to hesitate that father said me this. One day, when she was kept indoor with a cold, the grandmother told her that in coming few days, father's birthday is next week, and she suggested that Kezia should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. She given a yellow silk cloth so that she can make a gift. And this girl Kezia, she really laboriously with double cotton, the girl stitched the three sides, but what to fill it with? Three sides are already stitched, the fourth side was open because she was thinking what to stuff in. Now that was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden, so she wandered into the mother's bedroom to look for scraps, something which is not useful, because this girl was searching. The grandma is outside, so she was alone. She went to the father's room, and there on the table she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper. The papers were of good quality. She gathered them up and tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case, then sewed up the fourth side of her new pincushion. She was thinking that father will be very happy to see the gift. Now, when in the evening, at night, father arrived, everyone was worried. There was a hue and cry in the house because father's great speech, which he has to give for some port authority, it was lost. Everyone was searching there in the room. Servants were questioned. So finally, mother came into Kezia's room. And mother asked Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on the table in our room. Kezia said, oh yes, I saw them and I tore them up for my surprise. What? Screamed mother. And then she took Kezia to the father, straight down to the dining room. Because she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, because he was very worried about his speech. His hands were behind his back, and he said sharply, well, mother explained everything, and father stopped and stared at the child. Father asked Kezia, did you do that? She replied, no. She was whispering again. Then father said, mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. See, that child has put to bed this instant. Now she was crying too much to explain why did she do that. She lay in the shadowed room watching the evening light makes a sad little pattern on the floor. So it was a sad evening for her. Then father came into the room with a ruler in his hand. I'm going to beat you for this, he said. Oh no, she screamed. And she was hiding herself under the bed clothes. He pulled them aside and grabbed her. And it was order for her to sit down. Kezia was afraid. She held out her hands. Now father said, you must be taught once and for all not to touch anything whichever is not yours. Things which does not belong to you, you should not use them. But Kezia said, it is your birthday, Papa. But he was very angry. Still, the ruler was there on her little palm, pink palms. And hours later, when the grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. The Kezia was crying and asked, Grandma, why did God make fathers for? Grandma, she was quiet. She told, here's a clean hanky, baby. Blow your nose. Now go to sleep. You will forget all about it in the morning. I tried to explain to father, but He was too upset to listen tonight. Because of this, speech was lost. So better leave this matter now. We all know that the child, they never forget, because father has given this beating to the child. It is never forgettable. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both her hands behind her back, and a red color flew into the cheeks. Now the next door person, neighbor, his name is MacDonald. He had 5 children, and Kezia used to look through the hole in the fence. All the little children, his 5 little children, used to play with fathers, and she used to see all them enjoying with father in the evening. The father with the baby on his shoulder, 2 little girls hanging on his coat pockets, ran around and round the flower beds, and all are shaking with laughter. So, seeing all this, Kezia now decided that all fathers are different. Now, suddenly, in next few days, the mother became ill, and she and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl, she was left alone in the house with a cook. Her name was Elise. So this was the time she was with her father. Elise told her in the evening to go to sleep, but she was alone at home, so that is why she was afraid. Every day she is with Dadi, grandma, so she never felt that afraidness. Now she is thinking, what will I do if I have a nightmare? And she is thinking herself, she asked herself, I often have nightmares, and then Granny, she takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It is all so dark and it all gets whispery. I am alone. How will I manage if it gets dark? The cook Elise, she said, don't worry, you just go to sleep, child. Pulling off her socks and told her, don't you scream and wake your poor pa, because he also is sleeping. So she went away. The Kezia, she used to have a dangerous nightmare. In her dream, a butcher with a knife and a rope, a person who comes nearer and near her, and also with a dreadful smile. And she, because of her fear, she could not move. She could not only stand. She could only stand still. And she used to cry out, what? Grandma, grandma, because she was alone. There was only one person to save her, according to her. So she used to call grandma, grandma. Because of her nightmare, she woke shivering to see father beside her bed with a candle in his hand. Now, father, when she saw father, father asked her, what's the matter? And she replied, a butcher, a knife. I had a nightmare. I want granny, I want to go to the granny. And father, he just blew out the candle, bent down and caught up the child in his arms, and she was with his father. In his father's room, as things were here and there, his cigar and newspaper, he was reading newspaper and his cigar was on the table. So, he put away the paper, threw the cigar into the fireplace and carefully tucked up the child, and then he lay down beside her. Father was also tired, so he was also in his bed. Now, both are sleeping, half asleep still with the butcher's smile all about her. It seemed she crept close to him and snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. She also slept. Then dark did not matter. She was sleeping now. Few times later, as tired out, he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her mind. Poor father, he is not so big after all, and there is no one else to look after him. And every day, as I have seen the Uncle MacDonald with 5 children, they play a lot, but my father is working so hard, and that is why he is too tired that he cannot behave like Mr. MacDonald uncle. And what she did, she tore up all the beautiful writings of father. What's the matter? He asked her. Then she said, no, nothing. It is another dream. He asked. And that girl Kezia, she felt that she is now again thinking. She said, my head is on your heart, father. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear. Now, this image you can see on the screen. Its name is Catherine Mansfield. This is the story written by Catherine. Thank you.